another video from me, That Running Girl. In today's video we're going to be talking about whether runners have a higher pain threshold. But first of all, I thought I would just give you a bit of an update on the races that I have run recently. I'm not sure whether I talked about this in my last video, but I ran an off-road half marathon, which was the Otmore Challenge, in 1 hour 34 minutes. So that equates to 7.10 minute mile, and I was 5th woman at that race. And then a few weeks after that I ran the Banbury 5 mile, which is a 5-mile road race, and I ran that in 34:12, which equates to 6.50 minute mile, and I was 7th woman in that race. And then yesterday I ran the Arden 9 mile in 59:41, and that equates to 6.43 minute mile, and I was 3rd woman in that race. I was really pleased with how I ran that race because it was a very high quality field of runners there, and I was 4th woman up until the 5th mile, when I saw the 3rd woman in my sights, and I managed to overtake her, and I had to really put my foot down to maintain that pace. And it was a hilly course as well, and a certain part of the course was not off-road, but not as kind of smooth as road. It was like mixed terrain, so it was like gravelly and stony, like a pathway where you have to kind of watch your footing a bit. So I was really pleased that I maintained 3rd position for that. And then on the line, some woman was also trying to chase me down, and I didn't let her have it because I just worked really, really hard for that. And pace-wise, it was a really strong run for me. So I was really, really pleased with that. I won a trophy also at that race, and a bottle of wine, which I will go and get now because I somehow have forgotten to go and get it. This is the trophy that I won at the Arden 9 mile road race. As you can see, it has a lovely star on it, and it says K&D Arden 9 2016 3rd overall female. And I was really, really pleased to get that because I love getting a trophy in races. It just is such a good payoff for all the training and all the dedication that I put in day out over 10 years, and it's just a really nice memento and another one for myself, really. So anyway, on with today's video. Do runners have higher pain thresholds? Now, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and I'm glad that I've got round to it now, because often when I'm in the car driving around, or I have to drive back from somewhere, and the road sign says 5 miles back, 10 miles back, 15 miles back, 20 miles back to where I live, I think, how have I run that distance so many times? And when I'm in the car, even travelling the distance in the car, it just feels such a long way. And then I think, well, realistically, it's not like I'm driving these distances. I'm actually physically running these distances. How have I done this so often? How have I done this over 10 years? And I think also when you talk to people that don't run, they can't imagine running the kind of distance or the kind of pace that we run. And you wonder sometimes whether runners have some kind of different pain threshold, or the ability to block out feeling so uncomfortable, whether it's something you were born with or something you were kind of conditioned over the years, the kind of ability to deal with that level of pain. But why is it that we see runners see running as a form of enjoyment, whereas others seeing it something as more grueling and punishing? So I've compiled a short list of hardcore stories that I've battled through, and we probably all have these kind of stories to underline just how runners have higher pain thresholds. So the first one is injuries. Now, when I used to run in I'm going to have to sit differently because I am really, really uncomfortable. When I used to run in Asics, really cushioned shoes, I used to get stress fractures all the time. Well, I had 3 stress fractures in the space of a few years, which is quite a lot really, because I had to take 6 to 8 weeks off with each metatarsal stress fracture, which I had 2, and I had to take 4 months off with my femoral stress fracture. Now, in that time, I'm not saying I didn't feel the pain of those injuries, because I obviously did. But for example, I would try and run with a broken leg, which sounds ridiculous, like saying it back. But at the time, I would try to make it out of our close. I would try to make it like 100 metres up the road. And I thought, if I get 100 metres in, then I'll be all right and I can just carry myself through the pain. But yeah, I tried to run numerous times with a broken leg. And I just think my pain threshold must be a lot higher than other people's if I can even get a few steps down the road with a broken leg. Because this was at a point where I was like rolling around on the floor in pain and dragging myself from the cupboard to the mirror because I physically was in that much pain. So another thing that underlines how runners have higher pain thresholds than others is just general upkeep of running cons. So one of those would be blisters. So I'm lucky in that, touch wood, I don't really get blisters, and that's because I wear shoes that are suited to me, and I find if you wear shoes that are suited to you and they fit properly, you never really get blisters. But a lot of people do get them, and you see these kind of horror stories on social media, like my friends post pictures of blisters and disgusting things like that. And I think all runners have, at one point or other, I definitely have had a blister, and you just get that satisfaction of just striking a needle through it. And I don't really even feel that kind of pain, which to me says maybe I have got a higher pain threshold than others, because I can just pierce a needle through my skin and not really feel that much pain. That makes me sound like a complete freak, but I hope you'll agree with me on that one. Another experience that I've had running that makes me think I have a higher pain threshold is when I get stomach and GI issues when I'm running. So for example, a marathon that I ran not too many years ago now, I took on a protein bar, and this protein bar did not agree with me. So basically I was running between bush and knocking on people's doors asking to use their toilet in the marathon. And this was literally like maybe 2 miles into the marathon. It wasn't at the later stages. And obviously that kind of amount of severe stomach distress and pain is bad enough just on its own, but when you're trying to ask your body to run 26 miles, obviously that's a lot of pain to deal with, and somehow I got around it. Another one is when I ran in the snow. I wore some really, really stiff on the heels track spikes, so that I had traction with the spikes in the snow and I didn't fall over. Now these track spikes rubbed my heels raw, so they were bleeding into my shoes, and somehow I managed to make it home, and there was blood in the snow, and it was just a really gory scene. Another reason is heat exhaustion. I have run half marathons and marathons starting in 30-degree heat and still somehow made it through the race in a decent time. Another one is DOMS, so that's for anyone that doesn't know, it's delayed onset muscle soreness, when you can't even navigate a staircase the next day after a race, but somehow you still go out for a run that evening. Another one is being sick in races. So there are numerous times when I have either been sick on the pavement in a race or definitely had bile in my mouth from taking on isotonic sports drinks when I've hit the wall and I just need to get something into my system. So that's really quite disgusting when you think about it. Just puking up on the street or just swallowing your own bile, which comes from your liver. Yeah, not great, but another reason why, we just don't give up as runners and we have that higher level of pain threshold. And the final one is being pelted with rain and hail, but still dragging yourself through the miles. So where I live is not great temperature-wise. We have a lot of rain and a lot of crap weather. But obviously in the winter it's a lot worse, and I've been running in that kind of rain or that kind of hail where it physically feels like 10,000 nails coming out of the clouds hitting your face as you're running along, but you're still dragging yourself through the miles and you still do it. you just get on with it, really. So personally, I think the reason why runners have pain thresholds that are higher than other people's is partially because we all are a bit crazy. We don't want to accept the norm and strive to challenge ourselves to these faster paces and longer distances. And also, I think a lot of us, I touched on this in another video, I think it was the what are you running from video, but I think a number of us have deeper pain issues than physical ones that running presents. So for me personally, I've had to deal with a lot of pain in my life other than running. So from losing a parent to dealing with depression to facing unsettling times with my career and stability in life. And I feel like the short-term pain of running, whether that's pushing really hard in a race or dragging yourself through a lonely winter of long miles, compared to the emotional pain that I've had over the years, it doesn't really compare. And that's often what I tell my partner when, you know, he says, oh, how do you run that pace? Or other people sort of say, I haven't really told anyone else this, but when other people sort of ask how I sort of run that pace and that distance all the time, I just think, well, I'm still alive, and cue for a song. And I just feel like when I'm challenging myself with running and I'm completing races and I'm winning things, it's almost just underlining how I've got through those emotional battles in my life and how I've also been able to get through the physical ones. And they both kind of help each other out, I guess, and just kind of prove to me how strong I am to get through all those things. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Maybe you have similar experiences to me in those in that list of pain thresholds that I talked through earlier on. In my next video, I think I'm going to make my next video about booty shorts, which are the shorts that I've got on now. I'm going to do a review on these shorts, which are the Nike Epic Run boy shorts. I'm yet to wear these in a race, mainly because I feel like a fat stripper in them. But I thought I would do a video on them because I think there's quite a lot on the internet about the Nike Pro shorts and why they just come up so small and the most flattering way to wear them. But yes, drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought of this video. And I hope you're all running well. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I will insert the links here. I post about my daily runs, so the mileage and the pace that I run and what I eat and generally what I'm up to. I'm usually a lot more active on Instagram than I am on here, so catch me on there. And I hope you're running well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.